Draven. Yeah, yeah!
Noxians. I hate those guys.
Who wants some Draven?
You belong in a museum.
Giro nuclease. Mordecai e desmubiram. E reportou.
Big targets are the best.
Imagine if I had a real weapon.
Weapons are for the weak.
Embrace the night.
Pen or sword, the shield is mightiest.
Twilight fades!
Absolutely fantastic. Those videos are terrific, and they're actually created by Eric Kwan and his team of fan animators at Juan's Dojo, and they really do a brilliant job of capturing the unique essences of the champions just by using stick figures. I love the animated weapons. I think it's not fair that Kennen had an hourglass. Nobody else had weapons. Nobody else had activated items.
Kennen OP.
I think that's not fair.
I think he did catch the essence of the champions. I think Ezreal's was in flux a little bit, but overall it worked out nicely. I had to. You said essence, and it just
The
sparked.
one thing that confuses me: how would the law department feel about Diana and Leona, making buddies and being friends at the end there? Because I mean, that's a little uncool, multiple enemies and all that.
They're from the same. They're from the same place, right? Like. Their ultimate goal is actually the salvation of their own homeland. They just have different ideas of how it works out. If they actually they both knew the truth, they'd be friends. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm glad we could have this discussion. We'll get back on track, guys. So, welcome back, everyone. It is time for the 4th group stage game of the day with Cloud9 taking on OMG. Now, OMG is coming off a loss this morning to SKT T1K, and they are now 2-1 in the standings. If we talk about that loss, their solo laners struggled a lot. This is OMG we're talking about. However, Sun, and Alan had a very good game. Deficio, what do you think?
Well, as a dual lane, they've been shown throughout the entire tournament. They're very, very strong. Picked up some kills against SKT in the bottom lane here. Also actually died once to them. Got a little bit over-eager, I think. But overall, especially Sun here, he's their carry, actually, in my mind, even more so than Si Young in the mid lane, because he's the guy they often build comps around, where they pick the Nunu jungle, for instance, so he scales even better into the late game, and as long as he's doing well, as long as they give him enough farm, he will be able to do a lot of damage in the team fights.
That said, I mean, they really fell behind in the Vision game against SK Telecom, and that's something that they need to fix very quickly, or else they're just not going to have as deep a run as they could here.
Well, we'll have to see. We know individually they are quite talented, but we have been talking about OMG's decision-making and vision. On the other side of the coin, it's Cloud9. They won their game earlier today, so they are now 2-1, tied with OMG. The winner of this game will, of course, take 2nd place. Going into the playoffs, the loser will take 3rd. I want to talk about 2 players that really stood out for me in the previous game. Meteos, his ability to gank for balls in the top lane. It's something that the North American LCS has seen time and time again. He had a phenomenal game in Evelyn, breaking that streak on Elise that we've been seeing running. And the first time we see balls pulling out Lee Sin. Grepo, what do you think about their synergy, and is it enough against OMG?
I just want to point out how smart Meteos goes about the games. If you listen to the interview Link did, he told us that, yeah, Meteos wants to gank where he wants, and he doesn't want to be told where to go. And you saw that. He went bottom to put a little bit early pressure, and that allowed Cloud9 bot lane to secure the victory there. Then he transitioned all the way to top, knowing that they had the stronger 2v2 and better sustain. Just kept sitting there, kept connecting down, not allowing the enemy team to snowball into the game, and then they closed it out with good vision control and just nice carry jungle. And I really like the progression Meteos has made from just sitting in this jungle to even playing more mechanically adept champions. He's been working on his Lee Sin. He said at the start of the season, yeah, my Lee Sin is really bad. Started practicing. Even when you meet him in solo queue, at first he couldn't insect. Now his insects are pretty smooth. So he's definitely developed as a player, and he's really smart about the game.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta expect he's good at insect with all the Kazakhs he plays. But seriously, I think he's making the case for being the best jungler, at the Invitational. I think he's incredibly skilled, right? And we talk about him making a lot of great plays. I know you talked about his top lane synergy with balls. I think it's unique in that C9 seems to be the team that's most willing to gank the top lane. Of all the pro teams that are really C, this seems to be their big strength. And the only loss we saw from Cloud9 was balls screwed up a whole bunch and started the game 0-4, like went in a 1v2, died a whole bunch. Like outside of that, they're otherwise very, very strong as a team. And I want to see if those two kind of work in tandem a lot better, then you've got a really strong team in your hands.
Closing thoughts, Crepa?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, what he said about Meteos is like he's willing to gank top lane. Just wanted to compare that to a certain jungler from a certain coach. He said, I only gank bot lane. Bot lane is the only place I go. So as Link said in his interview,
well, we know which style is the winning style, isn't it? Guys, I do have to catch you off. Sorry. One very quick note. Both of these teams will proceed to the semifinals tomorrow. In those matches, the first seed, SKT, will play the 4th seed, which will be either Fnatic or the Taipei Assassins, depending on who wins the last match today. So that does mean that Cloud9 and OMG will play each other as the 2nd and 3rd seeds are matched in the semifinals. So whoever wins here will be able to get to pick their starting side tomorrow and give us a taste of what we can expect in that semifinal. So we are moments away from the game to decide the seeding for playoffs. We do need to lock in your predictions once more. I said I'm on a diet. It didn't work out for me earlier today because the sugary apple pie worked favorable. So I think I'm going to go with apple pie. How was the rest of the table voting?
Well, I have to go with OMG because I think individually, I will always go opposite of you. I will always disagree with you. However, OMG for me, I mean, I think they're just going to win by being individually better. And then, of course, the lack of shot calling from Cloud9.
Yeah, I think OMG They are that cohesive team. They are #1 in the LPL, and they are here in full, right? So I think you have to give them the edge.
Yeah, complete lineup for OMG. I hope they improve their vision game, at least in this match, if they ever want to stand a chance, if they do get to the finals against SKTT1. Other than that, they still have the superior players, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, I got to go OMG as well. I mean, I already said they'd win at the beginning. I've already got the scarf courtesy of Monte Cristo, so I can't back down now. It's too late for me. Like, even if I wanted to, it's too late for me. I've got to just keep going for OMG.
At least your commitment is good there, Freak. We'll see how it works out. And we have crunched the numbers on lolesports.com. We see that you guys at home have picked Cloud9 to win by 53%, so feeling it's a whole lot closer. Now, you've heard what we've had to say, but now let's hand it over to D-Man and Kobe for the play-by-play as Cloud9 take on OMG.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. Let's get right into it with the starting lineups. Over on the blue side, it is Cloud9. That means Balls is in the top lane, Meteos in the jungle, Link in the mid lane, Sneaky as AD carry, and Elimination on support.
And on the red side, it is OMG. Going up top, Pomelo in the jungle, Xiyoung at mid, Sun AD carry, and Alan supporting.
So coming into this game, we have decided to turn our focus towards the jungle, where Meteos, of course, is facing off against Pomelo. Yesterday, we saw Meteos pick Elise twice, which took his streak of playing her to consecutive 7 games in a row. But earlier on today, he picked Evelyn against the Taipei Assassins. Meanwhile, Pomelo, of course, mixed it up with Nunu against Fnatic, Kha'Zix against TPA, and also Evelyn when he played SK Telecom.
Yeah, that Kha'Zix you're talking about, I don't think that one is going to sneak through today, but what really was impressive from Pomelo yesterday was the Nunu that he used. He used it very effectively to punish Fnatic for their weak early lanes, and he actually counter-jungled extremely well against Cyanide, despite Cyanide's 2-0 start, who is a level 6 to his level 4. But with that being said, when Cloud9 are at their best, it's usually because Meteos is in their opponent's jungle with the support of strong solo lanes. He's laying down wards, he's counter-jungling, and of course, camping that top lane. We saw him earlier today, stealing away red buff as Evelyn and ending that game 7-0-9, as I mentioned.
And, we just heard Trevor talking about the fact that this is basically the semi-final that will be happening tomorrow, OMG versus Cloud9.
Yeah.
So do they give anything away here? Do they have fun with it like SK Telecom just did?
I think that side control is actually pretty important, the choice of which side you pick. So they are definitely going to try in this game. As you said, this is not the same as a game that's going to kick you out, but I think it does still hold importance for them.
Yeah, and of course with OMG, like you say, losing to SK Telecom, both teams have lost to SK Telecom. As you mentioned, side control could be a big factor. But what do you feel is the most favorable side these days? Because this is an interesting one between the two teams. Will it be blue? Will it be red? Some people like to counter. Some people like the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, percentages would say blue side. But yeah, that's been what a lot of teams have been choosing. Plus, you get that first pick.
So, picks and bans coming through. Syndra being taken away from Xiyoung. We saw that against Taipei Assassins yesterday. He's also gone very big in it in the LPL, as well as the Kassadin being removed. Well, I think everybody was just reminded by how deadly a Kassadin can be by Peke. So Link, I don't believe would have played that, but he's going to get taken away from anyway.
Yeah, and also I like the Syndra ban, first one coming out from Cloud9, targeting that mid lane as well. Both of them respected to champions. Xiyoung had a really good performance on that Syndra, completely bullying his lane.
Yeah, Xiyoung also going to have LeBlanc taken away from him. See what the final ban, the second ban, sorry, coming in is that Kha'Zix. It's actually OMG that banned it away. Meteos probably wouldn't have gone with it as first choice, I don't think, but Pomelo certainly may well off, but they banned it away themselves.
You mentioned that. Cloud9 actually banned the Kha'Zix last time, so, and he went with Elise. He's gone with multiple champions, Evelyn as well. So maybe not the highest priority for them, and they can use that last ban on the Jax. That just gives away that they don't want to first pick at 4 balls.
Well, we saw how big impact could go on Jax in that previous game. It's the first time it's snuck through for a while. So Thresh being banned out, no Thresh, and that's Alan again. So it's OMG that's banned that away, and shock horror, it's Elise again.
Well,
Meteos.
every support really likes Thresh. He's a very strong support to play with, and again, Cloud9.
100% kill participation. You can't argue with that when there's about 16 kills for your team.
Well, we'll see what he does on his secondary support here. Hovering over Leona definitely would bring that hard engage that OMG like to go with. I mean, that would follow the team fights that they want.
Obviously, he went with the Nami in the game against SK Telecom, and as we heard Deficio and the crew talking about,
it's a little slow for hard engage.
It wasn't quite strong enough for the hard engage. So Leona will be the choice, and Pomelo is going to go with the Lee Sin again.
So our featured matchup already determined. Meteos right back to that Elise, the favorite of his. Not really worth going over again. He does have different builds though. You know, now going more heavy cooldown reduction and super tanky with the Elise with all the changes to her. Whereas Lee Sin, that could shore up some of the vision problems from OMG. He's going to probably get an early sight stone and get more wards down. So Crepo might be happy about this jungler pickup.
And look at the delay though here. Cloud9 known for locking in very quickly. They are clearly, obviously, something has upset their rhythm or changed their style. This is a big, important game to them, but there are the lock-ins, Twitch and Lulu.
So the farm-heavy mid laners still being up Lulu and Orianna, they were probably going to choose one of those. This time around, they do go with the Lulu, which could actually still go support. So it's a little bit more of a flex pick here, but that's probably going to be linked back on his Lulu. As you're talking about Cloud9 being a little bit slower at their picks, I mean, you don't give away much with the jungler and the support pick right off the bat.
Oh, Zed's being hovered over right now, along with that Sun on Jinx. Jinx, of course, being a strong champion. Sun getting multiple kills on that the other day. Those executes coming out from the Rockets. Actually, it's an Orianna switch. I was surprised, actually. I was seeing Xiong hovering over Yasuo and Zed, and those melee assassins are not normal champions he goes with, so he's going to stick with what he knows. He's gone with Orianna.
I mean, it could have worked with this, but that would have meant that they definitely were an all-in team-fighting team here, and they do not decide to go with that. Like I said, the Lulu and Orianna, the two safe mids, the farm-heavy mids. This is going to be a battle between the two wave pushers at mid. Both of those have good wave clear for if there are swaps. They could defend those mid turrets much easier in the early game if those early turrets on the side lanes do go down.
And as I mentioned, Sun picking up some huge stats yesterday against Fnatic on that Jinx. What are we going to see from Cloud9? What will they go with? Quick lock-ins this time around. Elimination going back to Morgana once again, and Sneaky this time with a smile on his face. He's going to be playing Shyvana in that top.
Very, very quick lock-in for the Trundle to answer that Shyvana. Being able to steal away tank stats in the late game. Jack keeps mentioning it, how great that Trundle does scale. And last game, the analyst is talking about how scaling is extremely important. The AD carries in this situation, though, both scale really well. The only problem for them are getting caught. So if there's any focus that can get put down to them, neither of those have built-in escapes. They're going to have to get that from their mid laners, those support-heavy mid laners.
You got to feel that with the Twitch, it's always the same. He's going to be that sometimes assassin jumping towards the opposite AD carry. No escapes for Jinx, only the flash heal. He's got to have Alan sticking close by him.
Yeah, I mean, Alan can also use it a lot for the engage. So if Sneaky pops out a little too close and he doesn't see Alan, then he's going to get Leona ultimate right down on his head. So we'll have to see. This bottom lane is actually a lot of dealing with Leona when she charges you for Cloud9, because Lemonation has to be quick with his black shields, and he also has to watch his positioning. If they do end up in a 2v2 lane, whenever you have this duo of Leona versus Morgana, you have to watch your positioning because she can change targets, as one of our analysts, Crepo, learned the hard way.
Well, we just saw how strong Leona was in that stick figure spotlight. We'll see how it works out for Alan. The champs are locked and loaded, so head over to Twitter and tell us who you think is going to win. Send your picks to @LOLesports and use the hashtag C9win or hashtag OMGwin. The Men in Black, of course, are the favorites, I think it's safe to say, coming into this game. Certainly for me, they've put on some fantastic performances, but we can't deny how well Cloud9 have done coming into this. The fact that High was taken away from them, injured in hospital, Link comes in, absolutely brilliant support, coming into that position to change it. The fact that he's got to be the shot caller to come into a team is incredible.
And I like the discussion that they talked about, too. Yes, he's coming in, he's trying to fill an overall shot calling experience, but it's not him giving directive in the early game, like telling individual players where to go, like Meteos, calling for jungler support. So it has worked out pretty well for Cloud9, but of course they are not their old selves.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Just 2 more games to go in the group stage. Cloud9 as the blue team up against OMG, the Chinese representatives from the LPL. The Men in Black, how they're known, and this is a fight for second place. They're going to be playing each other in the semifinals regardless of the result here. The question is, who will be the #1 seed going into that game?
Coming into this game, it is Cloud9 with the ward advantage on Morgana, picking up the extra ward. So it tells me, I think Alan probably going a lot more points in defense here. might be a little bit more tanky, but we'll see if Cloud9 can make use of this vision. I would really love to see standard lanes because we're probably going to be seeing a lot of balls versus going in this game, and I'd like to see it just from the very beginning. These guys are extremely good top laners, both in their own rights, and I'd love to see them match up just straight 1 versus 1. Going such a huge part of this OMG team. Everybody's talking about Xiyoung because he got all these MVP votes, and he makes really good performances 1 versus 1 in the mid lane when they're left alone, but going plays a crucial part in this OMG team as well. And he has been playing that tank role very, very well, flanking in when needs to, and also peeling for the immobile AD carry, or the less mobile AD carries that San has been picking.
Late invade potential coming from Alan and San here. Don't think we're going to see the full support of this from OMG, though. They will pop the cork onto balls in the back there, but we're not going to see Pomelo or Gogoin joining him, so that's simply a ward.
They feint the invade. Interesting little adaptation here. They're actually going to start at their own red buff and take the blue second. They're still going to go for the invade, it looks like, because they do have the ward down on and they see nobody's going there. But the interesting adaptation here is they'll be able to get those 2 buffs extremely quickly and probably be able to have everybody hit level 2, both getting the double buffs and the second wave push if they need to go for it.
Yeah, so double buff's going to be for Pomelo. Meanwhile, of course, Meteos is only going to have his red because we just saw the blue buff being taken away by the duo pairing of Sneaky and Elimination. Meanwhile, Link
early level 2.
That's an ignite going down. It's not quite going to be enough, but a lot of damage coming out from Xiyoung early on Link.
Funny, that's a thing that Hai is really known for, is the early level 2 mid lane rushing with an ignite. And Link is on the receiving end of that one. He doesn't go down, so he's up a summoner spell now, and he can keep that one in his pocket, maybe for a later engage visit from Meteos. It doesn't look like OMG are going to go for that fast push. They haven't really been trying to shove those turrets down that quickly. They're okay with giving them up, actually, in a side lane, and then having Gogoin, that guy I was talking about who's crucial to their team, farming deeper in their own territory.
Yeah, they built up that double stack lane with the Siege Minion going in there. Balls, of course, with Meteos, though, will clear this wave, defend it cleanly. Meanwhile, down the bottom, they're not pushing either, so Cloud9 making sure they don't go too aggressive, and they're going to be quite happy to sit. So no 4-0 splits, no 3-0 splits that we sometimes see in the start, and it's actually something that's pretty much held true throughout the whole day so far.
Yeah, basically the story of the early level 1 is because of that, there's not that much early pushing, is the junglers. It was a 3-buff start for Pomelo. Featured matchup, he's got the early edge here. Even though Meteos was able to soak up some lane experience up top, he is down that buff. And it is going to have Pomelo not only having the early experience advantage, but also the timer to be able to return for more invades.
Well, he got the double buffs. He didn't get the 3 buffs. Because there was the invade, of course, from
Sneaky was, okay, yeah. Okay, Sneaky was given away.
Sneaky snuck in there. He's that sneaky.
Yeah.
You didn't even see that Sneaky rat. Of course, he does have stealth. That's why you couldn't see. Anyway, Sneaky does manage to put down that slow on towards this bottom lane, and this is identical so far. Meteos came up in towards that top and supported this time around. Pomelo's having to stick around for quite a while against Sneaky and Elimination this time to defend. So they will, so far, stay equal. Of course, Meteos without the blue buff on Elise is a pretty big factor.
Yeah, he did just start with the red buff and giving him the blue over to Sneaky. Yeah, too much talking about jungle. I was already wrong on one of the buffs. Let's move on to the duo lanes, because this is the older style where we did have
2v1s,
2v1 switches in the past that would actually be 2v1s and not 3v1s or 4v0s.
You can see that the 2v1s in the moment is in favor of Sun. Sun ahead by around about 10 CS so far. Well, it's 8 if you want to get technical on this one. Link has backed off himself the second Doran's ring in there. Meanwhile, some magic resist coming out from Xiyoung early on with that Mercury Cake.
Plus a ward for him. Because the junglers are not visible, because it was a slower swap on the sides, this is not the normal situation for him. He's used to having alone time with his lane opponent, so he's gotten extra vision as well to shore up that side to make sure he doesn't get ganked. And he can continue to increase his CS lead. Already 10 CS lead at 5 minutes 40 seconds here on Link. He's doing a great job. Once again, the Chinese mid laner showing up pretty big.
Of course, I meant the Null Magic Mantle and a Mercury Cape. I'm just so used to it, only ever seen it building into Mercury Dreads.
I wasn't going to call you on it. Don't worry. I wasn't going to say anything.
Freddie Mercury, I don't know. He always used to have a cape on. Who knows? Alan's going to come around the mid lane, and Link is actually a little bit out of position. He has the speed buff advantage if he needs it, along with that shield. But you can see Xiang already shutting him down. That attack move will be back off cooldown in just a moment. Xiang's going to get close. Clear to lands comes through. Flash. Vital for Link to get out of that Zenith blade.
Now that's a good reaction from Link, and it makes it even more impressive that he just shot out Glitterlance, so his mouse was on the wrong side of his champion for the flash, and he quickly moves it down to flash away in the opposite direction.
Lemonation getting caught out. Pomelo's there. Alan
Double
has
cakes from
rotated
Alan.
all the way down from the top lane to the bottom. Zenith Blade on Lemonation. They do manage to land that Sonic Wave, but they're not going to follow it through, and they may try and turn this one around. Sneaky got that damage going down. Hasn't hit level 6 though, so Rat-a-tat-tat is not available, but instead he's going to keep that poison ticking. Can't quite close on, but that was a great turnaround by Cloud9.
Alan has really been making use of his roam time here. He went all the way from mid lane into a second gank down bottom. And by the way, sidestepping that small juke of the binding saved his life. That would have been a dead support. It would have been first blood for Cloud9. We've seen how important sidestepping is and dodging these skill shots throughout the All-Stars. Now, if you guys at home want to get better at juking things, let's see, it is going to be a red side invade here from Meteos, though. He wants to get one of those
It was
buffs.
spotted. He walked straight past the ward. Xiong is already moving into position. Meteos is not having any of that at the moment.
Yeah.
That's reported by Link that his mid laner is stepping away. He doesn't want to get involved in this.
So he was trying to do the same thing that he usually does.
Yeah.
Red side steal and then try and alleviate pressure up top. However, OMG are on this one and they do collapse very quickly. But that story I was talking about, for if you guys, oh, never mind. Alan's going to go for a gank here on Balls.
Well, Balls will step away in speed here.
Yes,
he should be able to walk away from that one. Yeah, it's just walked and strolled away at the moment. And Balls, well, he's doing pretty well in this top lane. There's no doubt about it. He's got some good farm. If you compare it with what Goin's doing, 46 to 18 in his difference between these two.
Oh, Shockwave mid!
Shockwave on Link, though. They're going to try and pull him in there. Pomelo comes in towards him. The Ignite is down. I think this time Wild Growth will him save his life. No, he's going to dive in. It's first blood for Pomelo.
First blood, and that is going to exacerbate the Cloud9 problems in mid lane. Already he is losing in CS. Already he was getting attention from support ganks. Now the jungler comes in, and it's going to be a hard game for Link. He has to regroup and hold on, because this is crucial for OMG. This is one of the biggest parts of their game, is a very strong mid laner, Shi Young, going to have high impact shockwaves.
So that top lane turret will go down. Sun's just going to let the minions do their job and take it down. 77 to 71 between the two AD carries, who have not been up against each other just yet. Those minions will take it down just about there. So blue buff going across the Link. This time around, Meteos won't take a blue buff, I don't think, in this entire game, unless he manages to go steal one away. Sun does manage to get, actually went for the average blade again. This is something he did yesterday. So instead of going towards that Vampiric Scepter, which would have been another 80 gold, I believe, he went with the BF Sword and the average blade.
Yeah, going for that late game, sacrificing a very small amount of lane power here. We'll see how it ends up costing him if there is aggression down bottom. It will have to be one of these bindings landing. And in this 2 versus 2, if one of the bindings does land, then it's actually the Cloud9 team that can go aggressive on them. And Sneaky is not going with any gold generation, of course. He's trying to rush that Blade of the Ruin King, so he's got the ability for extra slows, extra CC. Sun's going to have to watch his positioning.
Yeah, Link is having problems in this mid lane. We haven't really focused on it too much. Oh, Dark Binding will land on Sun, but they're not going to follow it through. But it's a 73 CS to 49. Link has been having some serious problems up against Seong, and Seong is honestly getting quite a lot of free farm going, which is a problem when he's on an Orianna.
Yeah, and that, it's not only due to the ganks. I mean, yes, Link has been the recipient of multiple ganks mid, but it's also, Seong had a CS lead before those were even coming in, so you have to give him props as well.
So we'll see whether they works out for them. Blue buff, of course, for Seong and Link. It will be the first time they actually can have a fairly even fight, but of course you can see the level difference so far. Link has got to be careful. Pomelo waiting around the side. Meteos doing the same thing over at the Wraith, so we'll be able to repel in if he is required, and Pomelo is going to go for this one.
Link has his flash and ult.
Yeah, Link is just going to sidestep. Simple enough. Instead, he's going to put down some abuse back onto Young there. That worked out very well for him with the Glitter Lance and picks.
So they're able to foil that mid lane dive just with a nice sidestep again. Oh, another transition for my sidestep story. Well, if you want to practice, there's 2 parts to dodging skill shots. One is predicting them, just knowing what champions will be wanting to throw out skill shots when, so you can get, you can be waiting for it and expecting it. But the second part is the mechanical part. If you want to train for it, try walking around, playing a full game, keeping your mouse pointer right next to your champion. It makes it hard to move around because you have to spam clicks, but having it closer to your champion makes it easy to change directions. And you can dodge skill shots much easier.
Well, speaking of skill shots, them Dark Bindings are landing on Sun constantly so far from Elimination since he's come down to this bottom lane, and we talked about the CS advantage they had. That is dwindling right now with Sun managed to be pushed back by Sneaky.
Well, they were also calling in support here. Meteos heading in through the bush, whereas Pomelo is heading up top. So action for both teams on the opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, they're going to dive in. Alan's going to get maybe locked up here. The ultimate from Lemonation is just about out of range, and they can't quite get that Rat Attack that close enough. Ballsy's trying to get away with the Dragon Descent. That speed boost is not quite going to be enough here. He does have Flash available if he can just reach the edge, and he does get through there. Will anyone follow? No. But now he's got the support of Link. He should get the speed buff off Link there. Along with the shield, he is safe.
Wow, nobody wants to flash over after him, and he does get away, escape from balls, but also was escape down bottom from the duo lane, which caused Cloud9 to move right over to the Dragon, and they're getting it down!
The teleport coming far too late. They took it. Oh, man, lock up. Sun with the ulti coming through. Link now gets away. Alan on next to no health at the back there, but that's only 1 kill for the Dragon. That's not enough for OMG.
Yeah, Cloud9 pretty happy with that one, only losing 1 person to that 3-man Leona ultimate. Link was almost able to turn around there on Alan and pick up a return kill, but the objective goes down for Cloud9, and it also gives Balls time to go back top and get more CS, plus he's got pressure on the turret. What a beautiful combo from the bottom lane, though. Shockwave, I believe that Shockwave just whipped everything from Young as well.
Yeah, and we saw, of course, the trophy being stomped down in between them, just trying to keep them in place a little bit longer. Ball's doing good work on this top turret, though. Of course, the top one of his own was taken down by Sun and Alan earlier on, but he's working it down at the moment. Cloud9, despite the fact they're 2 kills down, are actually looking very good in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Balls, after all that craziness, made his way back top, so he was getting minions up at the turret once again. And look at this. This is the matchup I was looking for really early. The 2 top laners, Balls has a tremendous CS lead now on going, even though they are even, oh, the ward here. Meteos thinks he's being very sneaky, waiting around outside of vision, but going is very well aware of his position.
Yeah, not sneaky enough. You can see Pomelo's just taking down the golems. He's ready, waiting in the wings, but he's going to get spotted out by the Troy Bush right now. They know that Meteos, well, actually, they're not sure whether he's still here. They did see him skittering up the lane, so they're pretty certain
he's pretty sure Meteos is still up to something there. They know his tendencies. They know he likes to get ganked top lane. They know they want to snowball Balls. They know he wants to increase that lead, and it's a good job of OMG playing around that. Very smart ward right there.
So, Pomelo actually out of position here. Are they going to make a move? Sun, meanwhile, down the bottom. There's going to be the rat-a-tat-tat coming out from Sneaky. Gets himself 1. Lemonation lands the Dark Binding. Alan in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get taken down. It's a double for Sneaky in the bottom lane.
We didn't get to see really how that one started out, but it might have been a binding from Lemon. Regardless, double kill for the bottom lane. This is huge for Cloud9. The gank up top wasn't successful, so bottom lane makes it happen themselves on the other side of the map. Switch with the Blade of the Ruined King. He used the active there. That was all. Okay, so he just snuck in. It wasn't even the initial binding. Slowing him down, and the Black Shield allows him to walk right through the Flame Chompers. Didn't even have to land the binding. Beautiful gank there from Sneaky. As soon as he gets that Blade of the Ruined King, everybody's got to watch out, because he can snowball very quickly with this.
And that's exactly what we talked about in Picks and Bans. The fact that he picked Jinx into this rat, we knew what was coming. They had no clean escape. And we saw with Alan even alongside him, he was helpless.
Yeah, Thresh being banned, he's not, Leona's not one to be able to help you escape from one of those situations. With Black Shield on, there's not much Leona could do.
So, fantastic start now. There's 2 kills for Cloud9. They now have themselves the gold lead as well. It's just shy of 2,000 gold as Lemonation is evacuating is from OMG, who are pushing in and going to take down this middle turret. That's going to swing a little bit of the gold towards them and give themselves a big advantage in that mid lane, which has still stacking. You can see Link only just about to hit the 100 TS mark, meanwhile 130.
No ward coverage bottom here for OMG. Meteos is going to have alone time with Sun.
Is he going to be enough? It certainly looks like it will. All that damage going down, but he does manage to pop the cork. There's the execution. San is going to get excited off this one. Meteos is going to step away, and Sneaky comes in for the easiest kill.
Oh, no, not that easy.
Hasn't got the flash, hasn't got the heal. He can't gain the speed advantage that he needs on Sun. And now Sneaky is in trouble because there's three members of Cloud9 chasing. He's committed full on. And now he's going to get caught out. The turret catching on towards him. Meteos is with him. And they both committed suicide because Pomelo comes in behind. And that was not a good move.
Yeah, that's one of the plays where you have to type worth because it was definitely not worth it to chase that deep. Both Sneaky and Meteos get caught up in the chase on this one. Even though OMG didn't have ward coverage in their long lane without a turret and their Jinx AD carry with no escapes is going up to push it, it actually didn't turn out that bad for them.
Look at the top lane going up there. The tower's low, and now Link is going to join him. There we go. It's a very big dragon chasing down going. He's got no escape from this one, and it's Balls with the kill and the tower in the top. But the rest of OMG, they're moving in.
Yep, they're getting converged on here, and this is the side where Cloud9 are weak. They don't have a tower to run back to. We'll see if Lulu is enough to get them out of this.
They're both in perfect position for the solar flare. Link's the one that dodges to the side, uses that flash again. The ball delivery system on Allen is enough, along with Pomelo kicking him back. It's going to be safety in numbers as Balls manages to step away. But look at this, the mid-turret objective is being taken by Cloud9, using the kill to their advantage.
Yep, every time you commit so many people to one side of the map, gonna make you pay for it. Cloud9 do take the last outer turret. This is very big for them, and it affords Sneaky more room to work with. Sneaky has shown more than many people on Twitch. He has a propensity for going for these assassinations, and we just saw it there. Sometimes it's a little bit too deep, but he still got the kill. So he'll usually get something out of one of these ambushes.
So Dragon up in 30 seconds time. There's really, really good vision from Cloud9. You just need to look at the map. You can see all across the Dragon area there's a bunch of wards, although saying that, they just time out the minute we switch to it. That's just how it is for casters sometimes. OMG moving in and getting their own ward vision down there. So 12 seconds on the clock. They are in perfect timing. And I feel this may be the first team fight we see.
All right, yeah, teleport available for Balls. So this could easily turn into a 5v5. The spray and pray ready for Twitch. If everybody is at the entrance to Dragon, he can get a nice line and shoot multiple people. He's only got to worry about that shockwave, because after Twitch shows up and reveals himself, he's going to have to rely on his flash and his black shield.
The Dark Binding didn't follow, open up. That could have been the start there. There's the Cocoon coming out there. Cloud9 jumping towards it. It's actually a smite steal from Elise there. Then Balls goes in. He gets bounced in the air. He will finally get dropped to OMG. Turning this one around. The execute coming out there. Sneaky managed to get down to Young. Instead, Going comes in. Going's taken so low. They're going to focus on towards him. Meteos around the backside. Sneaks in there. But Sun is still alive. And now he's going to try and run down Meteos. Turn it back around. And Meteos pounces on towards him. The Dark Binding lands. And the bangs come out. And Meteos sinks himself into another. And that is a kill for Link at the end as well. It's the ace and the dragon for Cloud9.
Meteos with the smite on target. They get the objective. Plus, they win the team fight after. Sneaky is one of the most fearless Twitch players I have ever seen. So Meteos goes in. He doesn't even get the whole combo, just using the smite there. Balls, meanwhile, chased off the rest of the team. And when Sneaky opens up, he gets sucked in by the shockwave into the flame choppers. Really bad position, but he can shoot multiple people with his spray and play and uses the flash to get out. He does just enough burst comboed with a Lulu to be able to take out the high priority targets. And then he sucks in Allen, so Allen is away from the rest of the team, and it allows Cloud9 to focus down Going. Now they even it up, both top laners dead, but it's Cloud9 who get the focus here as Meteos another Cocoon landing. This one onto Sun, and Link backs him up. Lemon Nation backs him up. Two different kinds of shields. They're able to chase this one down.
And Meteos stayed in Repel for so long. He was the focus target by by OMG. Stayed up in that Repel, then popped back down, picked himself up a double kill. Fantastic stuff. We just saw the blue buff being stolen away. I think it was OMG that actually managed to collect that one. And they are going to take this tower, but at what cost? Because Sneaky is back down that bottom lane.
Is he going to open up on the solo top laner here?
You bet your life he is. Sneaky goes in. He's going to get bounced back by the Summoner's Cup. But going. He's got nowhere to run. But look, he's back in the river. It's going to be a 4-man surely pylon. Lemonation caught out of position. That's a very deep dive and a shockwave coming out. Link is getting caught out. This is a great fight for OMG. They're just extracting their revenge. Sneaky comes into the side. Rat is running on through, but they're going to have to run away from this one. The pop, the cork lands on Meteos, pops him, slows him in his tracks. That's going to be another Dark Binding missing now. Alan's going to try and collapse in. Meteos land in the cocoon. Vital to his life still there. Oh, he repels back to the minion line, and Cloud9 should get out alive.
They still got to worry here. Alan is pretty close. He's going to have to get in range for Zenith Blade, though.
Oh, very good Black Shield there, preventing both spells coming through to him. Alan not able to get the stun down with the Zenith Blade. And I tell you what, just one death for that was very impressive for Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting little bait and switch there. Going. He gets opened up on by Sneaky and then is able to teleport just a small distance, a couple of screens away back to the team, giving them the numbers advantage. And Sneaky not being there is a huge part of Cloud9's team fight, so they have to retreat. They do a good job of retreating, though, as you said. And the main thing I want to point out is the build for Meteos, which many North American players and even European players are very familiar with because he's popularized it on the LCS, but worldwide fans, he goes very cooldown heavy here with the cooldown boots and the jungle item first. And then he's also maxing the cocoon second. So these stuns that he keeps hitting that are barely coming off cooldown and barely saving people's lives are scaling up very quickly. The new Elise with the longer stun times, the more points you put into it, really paying off for Meteos this game.
Max level Phantom Dancer now completed actually by Sneaky. And you know, we heard Jat talking about earlier how Sneaky and Lemonation really have kind of gone under the radar as the #1 AD pairing, really. The AD duo kept pairing in North America. They've topped the table for 2 seasons running now and constantly are doing well. But here they are up against Sun and Alan, and they are doing a fantastic job. 4-2-4-1-1-6 up against the 2-3-3 and 1-2-4. They really have bossed that bottom lane.
And it looks like he's looking to go aggressive again, too. We could have a 4v4 in the mid lane. Sneaky on the front line once again!
Shockwave pulls Sneaky to one side, but hello, Link manages to get the kill on Si Young, and that's going to force OMG in retreat in the mid lane. Turret may well go down to Cloud9 here.
Yeah, they have complete control now. They took out the Shockwave. They took out the mid laner, who was a big part of OMG's strategy. Now they have the Pope, this Morgana plus Elise that Cloud9 love to run. It's one CC that can chain into another. They can kill people even under turrets because they have all range champions here.
Well, I think the analyst desk may well be eating some humble pie after this one, because right now American Pie is doing wonders against the men in black. 10-8, that's another turret fall into the wayside, and it's a 6,000 gold advantage now built up by Cloud9. They really should put faith in their own team.
They really should. I mean, the thing that's really catching OMG off guard is the wild card of the Switch. And the reason is because Sneaky's playing him so aggressively, they aren't expecting it. They're getting too far out in these lanes. They don't have defensive pink wards up that can see him coming through. I mean, you have to ward so many places. Warding your flanks against invisible characters that are going to be ambushing you. It's the same idea when you play against Evelynn. But very hard versus Twitch. I mean, Sneaky just came through lane last time that happened. So you can't put a pink ward in lane or else the other team is going to be taking it out.
Yeah, and they're just going to see it straight there. Cloud9 wisely stepped away from that turret. They are lingering a little longer here because they're buying Sneaky time in that mid lane to get himself yet another wave of minions and shove it on towards the inhibitor turret. Dragon is up in 2 seconds time, and OMG is simply guessing as to where Cloud9 are going right now, and you can see where they are going. It's straight to Dragon.
Look, they've gotten so much confidence from that last pick, and now OMG are scared. There's very deep wards from Cloud9 is what we like to see in the games that they do win. OMG, they really need to make use of their team fighting comp here. They need to make use of some AoE. An engage from Alan, followed up by a good shockwave from Si Young to get them right back in this. They have Trundle. Trundle can steal away stats from the Shyvana. Shyvana's very buff right now, yes, but Trundle can answer that. If they get him in a wrong position, then Jinx can actually melt right through that Shyvana with the Trundle ulti on top of it.
So do you think we're really running the 2v1, top lanes, bottom lanes, Do you think that's really shoved Cloud9 into this position, or is it just simply outplaying, out-rotation? Oh, hello, look at that. We got the Twin Shadows coming out now. I think that's Link that's... No, it's not Link that's completed that. It's actually Emanation that has completed the Twin Shadows as an early item. Going to get that slowdown. Not going to work out in his favor this time, but it does keep them away from the blue buff, all importantly for Link.
Link wearing a blue buff, so he's pretty happy, though. I think that the ambush is really catching them off guard, have done a good job for Cloud9 keeping OMG on tilt here. Cloud9 have done a good job in the early game trading objectives whenever OMG would commit a lot of people to go punish one person who was out in the lane. Yes, they would get a kill, but still Cloud9 would push down an objective in answer. So even when they were losing small fights on the other side of the map, they're still always gaining something back.
So, OMG, how do they respond? And something we've noticed throughout this tournament is OMG do not react well when they fall behind, and Cloud9 have a big advantage this time around as they clear all the wards around the Baron Pit.
One reaction that they are making is the Static Shiv second there for Sun. He's got more wave clear for his team because they know they're going to be on the defensive, and they can't rely only on going to clear out these waves. So a little bit more wave clear added from the AD carry. However, it has delayed his Last Whisper, and he still hasn't been able to complete it. If C9 can force a fight before the completion goal there for Jinx Last Whisper, then it's going to be very, very big for them.
And you would also consider that if Xiong does land one of those big shockwaves, now that the magic damage does start to stack up, if you can get in onto Sneaky, then you've got to wonder where the damage then will come through from Cloud9. Of course, Link does have some damage coming out, but the rest of the team is really all about tanking and sustaining.
Ball's trying to cut off Allen as well as Pomelo, but he just gets kicked in the face.
Oh, we're going to see the Twin Shadows chasing on towards Pomelo. It's going to slow him down. Balls is going to pursue on this one. He's going to have the speed boost. Sneaky is trying to get in towards him, but they will escape through towards their own turret. They may try and lock someone off. It was Sun.
Xiong is actually cut off from the team here too. So Cloud9, they do have the first step on this turret. They can close out and try and gain positioning on OMG. Xiong's being able to sneak in the back though. Cloud9 not able to make anything happen. Sneaky though, front lines once again. Will a Binding Land? No.
Not quite enough. There's a giant wave in that bottom lane. Teleport is not available.
Uh-oh, it whiffs.
That does whiff. That's the solar flare from Allen. It's not going to land. They should stop pursuing this one because certainly Cloud9 are ready to turn.
Yeah, Link was heading right up there. That would have been a great 5v5 for Cloud9. If OMG forced that after missing one of the big crucial parts to their AoE teamfight, if without the Sona ultimate or Leona ultimate, then it's going to be much harder for them. They have to rely all on the Shockwave.
Oh.
And it's been used already on the tank.
The Shockwave already used on Balls. Balls just baiting the whole team in there. And surely this is OMG. They have to step away from this turret. This is going to be a hard siege maybe coming out from Cloud9. We saw that minion, the minions taking down the turret in the bottom lane. This is simple delay tactics. That's going to be another inner turret for Cloud9.
Cloud9 actually backing away from the turret. They don't want to risk Sneaky getting into a bad spot, even though they have the Black Shield to rely on. They're retreating it back to Baron to try and bait around Baron. However, little do they know, they've got a ward from OMG inside that pixel.
Well, they're going for it.
So they've seen them walk in. OMG know that they're walked in because they have that one river ward, but Link's trying to screen for the team.
Pomelo low on health already. He's below half hit points, and he's the guy that's got to dive in towards it. That Baron was taken so low already. Now we're going to Cloud9. They're going to try and peel for this one. Balls takes a big burst of damage. Remember, that Shockwave is still not available. He gets pumped off the Wild Growth on towards Sun. Sun in all sorts of trouble. And now the big damage dealer is down for OMG. Going gets focused. They're actually not interested in him. You can see the rat-a-tat-tat thing come through towards him. Allen's going to get locked up. He flashes away. The Dark Binding sidesteps up towards there, and he will escape as well. It's just 2 kills with going and Sun down. Will Cloud9 go back to Baron?
Just 2 kills is definitely going to mean an objective for Cloud9. They return to the Baron. Yeah, it's not just 2 kills. That is the tank and the AD carry, the 2 crucial parts here. However, jungler still left up. Possibility of a weird steal may happen.
Shockwave back up off cooldown. That's, like you say, a possibility of a weird steal. We already saw Faker managing to do that this time around. It will be Cloud9 securing that Baron. And they are in control of this game now with a 10,000 gold lead.
Yeah, what a great job. They gain a small advantage in teamfights with just cooldowns being used up top. They push up the turret, then retreat and bait around Baron, start up the Baron, and they almost even finish it. But you can see the shot calling from them is so decisive. Even with it being that low, they immediately turn and they use their engage of the Shyvana jump plus Lulu knock up very, very well onto the Jinx, who cannot be out of position in this team. We talked about in Champion Select, talked about there's not much that can help him if he gets jumped on by that Shyvana with Blade of the Ruined King.
We just saw there the Dragon Timer not on for OMG. They came into the pit 30 seconds early. It will be up in 5 seconds time, and Cloud9 well aware of that situation, but OMG have already backed away. It's gonna be a free one for OMG, for Cloud9.
Yeah, they're gonna increase, and this gold lead is kind of getting out of hand for Cloud9 now. They usually, you know, it's not very safe to siege up with Twitch because he doesn't have a lot of mobility. However, they can rely on Black Shield a little bit to at least shield him from the Sona ulti, and then he's just got to watch out for the Pillar plus Shockwave. And they might even just siege up with this because they have such good poke threat with the Lulu plus Morgana plus Elise. I think they'll actually have a much easier time of taking down this turrets than you would think.
And this, to me, is kind of showing, especially with OMG's current position, if they don't get that pick, that all-important pick that they want, which they have actually got throughout the tournament so far, they're kind of stumbling against Cloud9's team fighting.
Yeah, I think that they will continue to stumble just because the gold is so big. And they have been caught off guard by this aggressive Sneaky who's backed up by a support mid laner as well as a true support. There are so many shields for Sneaky that he can afford to play this aggressive. Lulu plus Twitch is a great combo, not just defensively because of shields, but also offensively because Twitch building a lot of attack speed means he gets to make even better use of picks on him. So his damage is even increased.
And with that last Whisper already completed, going in towards the next possibly Infinity Edge, there's next to no armor actually really built up by OMG. You can see just the Warden's Mail completed by Pomelo, who is going to have to step away from this turret. It's another easy turret for Cloud9.
Yep, they get the outer one, and the 2 teleports are up for the bottom guys there. The 2 top laners who are dueling it out. Unfortunately for OMG, Going has not been able to get going and catch up to Balls. He is still at a huge CS discrepancy, and it's showing itself, even though he is Trundle, and in his kit, he could steal away. Oh, they engage.
Solar Flare comes in. It's only Lemonation that's caught up. The Shockwave is only going to affect Lemonation, and he does go down as a support. Sneaky trying to turn his fight around, and the Sun just gets decimated where he stands. While this is all happening in the bottom lane, you do see Lulu managing to take down Going. They're on the inhibitor during the bottom lane and the top lane now.
OMG with the numbers advantage actually come out behind on that one. Down bottom, they were able to pick up the kill as well on to Going. Balls plus Link doing work down there. Cloud9 just winning all over the map right now.
What are OMG going to do? They tried to kick Balls away from this one. Balls may have gone a little bit too far as he gets caught out. He hasn't got the speed buff coming out from Link. Link being chased away by Pomelo. Pomelo's going to get on towards him. Link is actually maybe going to turn this one back around, puts the picks down on there. Balls tries to catch on towards him. Allen has to stun him up, and they have to back away while this is all happening. Sneaky takes down the top inhibitor turret.
Yeah, wins on both sides. 2 inhibitors going down. This is definitely a huge lead for Cloud9, and they've got a clear path. Just run straight up that mid after everybody purchases. By the way, also Shyvana with the two activatable slows here. I really like this combo. Not only the blade slow, but also randomness for him. So people are not going to be able to get away.
Sneaky again! Sneaky going in. Blade of the Ruined King pops. He gets on towards him. Is he gone too far though? Gets flashed away from it. Solar Flare locks him down. And OMG may try and turn this one. No, they haven't got the damage in them. Sun tries to get close enough, but look at Allen and Xiang. They're going to get popped down. Balls goes in towards it. Can't quite get on one. Can't get on the second either. We do see the twin shadows coming out. Pomelo taking solo. Going in amongst them. Shockwave pulls in 3 members of Cloud9. They're all so low. Sun is just off on the side. They have to focus him down. You can see Link coming back in full hit points. He's going to speed on towards it. Balls gets in there. It's a kill for Lemonation as well. Sun just trying to keep them at range. But again, not enough damage you feel for OMG because that was a good fight for them.
Yeah, that was finally OMG being able to punish Sneaky for opening up so aggressively. However, they're so far behind in gold at this point that when Cloud9 are able to catch up, they still come out ahead.
Whew, this game is heating up right now, or very much in favor of Cloud9. The Baron buff, of course, is now off the team, so which is why we're seeing OMG starting to be a little bit more aggressive. But with those 2 inhibitor turrets down, the bottom inhibitor has been taken out as well. OMG are on last chance saloon. But look at the timers. 1 minute 44, they are going to be the next objectives. Certainly for Cloud9, if not for OMG.
Yeah, and I think the dual ignites from OMG, instead of having at least one of those as an exhaust, is costing him against Sneaky's Twitch, because Sneaky's opening up so close every time. He is actually in range of being exhausted most of the time, even though Twitch can activate his ult and get so much range. If they had one of those, then it might have saved them from a couple more of these deaths. But they went for 2 ignites, wanted to play very aggressively, looking for the kills, and they have paid for it, because Cloud9 were the bottom lane that actually got heads up, do first 2 versus 2 kills.
Yeah, and of course with that 3v4 fight going their way, Cloud9 are feeling fairly strong right now. Pomolo's going to go for this one, not really sure he should be taking that ride as he tries to back away. Lead Syndrome maybe kicking in towards him there. Chompers are going to stop Cloud9, they're just going to have to sidestep them. There's the Twin Shadows going out, they will be too far away to make an advantage, or will they? Boss tries to get that speed boost coming out from Link, but it's not enough to chase them down, and OMG will back away to their inhibitor.
We are going to see that siege here from Cloud9 there. We've got 2 lines of super minions, 1 inhibitor to take up top.
They are slowly going to work it down. Oh, Home Guard's coming out from OMG, trying to zip out of that base, but it's not enough. And honestly, I don't think they can siege this one out. They have to give it up. You can see they're trying desperately to find themselves a pick, find themselves an opening, but it is not working. They may well have locked down balls though. Alan's going to go on towards him, but Alan's taking all the damage. The Shockwave only hitting Sneaky, and it's just not enough for Sneaky takes down Xiyoung. OMG forced back towards the Nexus turret. Super Minions taking down 1. Sun gets deleted on the spot. The second Nexus turret falls just as quick, and the Nexus will go down. Cloud9, ladies and gentlemen, will finish second in the group stage as they defeat OMG.
Cloud9 showing up huge with Link, and I think that people in the future will not be giving them Twitch. They also have to think about this Elise and Morgana combo. Cloud9 love this combo. They go full cooldown reduction on both champions, and they continue to spam these skill shot CCs. One of them is going to land eventually, and they're on such short cooldowns, and they stun for such a long duration that you've got to take away one of these parts of Cloud9's strategy. They just use it so effectively.
Fantastic stuff from Cloud9. They came into this tournament simply hamstrung. Their mid laner, their shot caller, taken out, but Link has stepped in from CLG in his defense. He's done magnificent. You know, to come in and replace the main shot caller, the mid laner, is such a big job, and clearly he has done such a grand job, and more importantly, the team have clearly been that accommodating to him. You can see Charlie just stood behind him there, the analyst of Cloud9, doing a great job to his team, and it seemingly has worked. How far can Cloud9 now go in this tournament? Can they take down OMG in the semi-final? Because this is a giant confidence.
Yeah, well, how far can they go? They're at least going to the semis.
That's for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely
maybe more than Europe right now.
Maybe. Coming up next game, we will determine the last team to get through.
And just once again, you know, All-Stars North America doing a great job. Reaching the semifinals, they did it in Shanghai last year.
This does not sound like
one step further.
Great job, North America. What?
I love every team out there, that's for sure. I love aggressive games, and that's what it was. 19-10 in kills.
So you're a Sneaky fan.
Sneaky was fantastic there. 7-3-7. The Rat, he clearly chose it against SK Telecom. It didn't quite work out for him this time, but up against Sun, he put on a performance. 2-6-5 Sun. We've never seen him do that. He was, what, 8-1-5 plus, I think it was, against Fnatic. He dominated Fnatic, but this time around, he was completely shut down by the duo lane of Sneaky and Lemonation.
And I love what Cloud9 did. They ban out Thresh, they take away Morgana, and they take away Lulu. These are the best supporting champions really in the game to keep one of these less mobile AD carries safe. They know that Sun likes to go for the less mobile, really hard carrying champions. They take away all the support from that, and you know he's left with the aggressive support, Leona. If they get on the back foot, it's really hard to come back.
Question is, have they shown their hand too early against OMG? Of course, it's something we've seen teams do in the past during tournaments. They are the #1 seed. They will get the side choice. We'll see how that works out tomorrow. For now, though, we're going to head over to Quickshot and the analyst desk for more information about that game.
Thank you very much, guys. And I'd like to kick this one off by saying congratulations to Cloud9. They are playing with the substitute, as D-Man rightly pointed out. We have the top 3 positions in the 2014 All-Star locked in. The number 1 seed going 4-0 is obviously Korea, which is being represented by SKT Telecom T1K. The number 2 seed that has already beaten every other region except Korea is North America. And Cloud9 has done their region proud. They are, of course, going to the semifinals. They get the side choice against OMG in their best of 3 tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about this game. We were discussing the lane swap early on. We've seen the 2v1s early on. And in terms of some of the statistics, it definitely benefited Balls. He was CSing very well. He seemed to be handling that position superior to his opposite number.
Well, so going down in the bottom lane here in the 1v2, I wouldn't say unlucky, but once he actually got a time to farm, once a wave actually hit towards him on the tower here, he could pick up some farm. OMG started a gank himself, actually, on the bottom lane. He ran away from the minion wave, tried to join in for the gank, and nothing came out of it. Like, they didn't get a kill. The minion wave got killed, and then instead, it actually started to push in the favor of Cloud9. So he got completely stoned away for at least 5 minutes. It was a thing we talked about yesterday with Monte Cristo. He showed on the replay how the minion wave, once you can freeze it, it push it towards you. It happened for him. So he was stuck on about 17, 18 CS for a long time where Balls was just farming away in the top lane. And it was a big deal because every time OMG moved top lane to try and help him, once they swapped back to 1v1 and 2v2, Cloud9 just took a dragon, took a tower, took something else on the map because GoGoing needed so much help.
Yeah, not only that, but if we look at what happened later with the itemization, I think this really shows some flaws in OMG's mindset coming in. We were really surprised because as soon as Jinx swapped back into the bottom lane, she had BF, and then this is the curious part, an Avarice Blade instead of a Vamp Scepter, so she didn't have that sustain. So then Sneaky and Lemon were really able to push her into the turret, chunk her really hard. She wasn't able to stay in lane. So when you know your top laner's so down, you know, Avarice, of course, the greediest build, literally, and it was very questionable decision making because if they had been able to hold their ground a little bit better and stay in lane or provide some sort of map pressure, they may have been able to draw some attention to get going back into relevance. But that said, it was a really good read from Cloud9 to continue to press, and then they finished out the game beautifully.
I almost feel it's a little disrespect to play 0% lifesteal in the Leona lane because Leona doesn't offer too much zone forward. I mean, all you have is all in. At the same time, yeah, Relic Shield provides a little bit of sustain, but you need lifesteal either from your runes or from an early vamp, and if you get neither, you will get poked out. I mean, Morgana, Twitch is going to be able to poke you quite efficiently, and they can sustain up afterwards. And you saw that at one point they get poked so far down that the all-in is no longer an option because Twitch has so much raw damage output, or even Morgana can kill you. And I feel they're misplaying the bot lane.
Yeah, I'm happy you bring up the Twitch because it's the second time that we see Sneaky getting his hands on that champion. I know Hai was tweeting about Twitch being the Sneaky being the strongest Twitch player out of North America. He really put his carry pants on this game. 7-3-7. He seemed to be in the right places most of the time. There was 1 or 2 team fights you could argue he was too far forward, but his opponents had no exhaust. You never felt like Sneaky was not helping his team in those team fights.
So he was very aggressive with his engages. Sorry, Fig, if I took it away from you.
Go for it. It's okay.
He was very aggressive when it comes to engaging here, but keep in mind, he was pretty much the engage from Cloud9, actually. They had Shyvana who could flank around as well, or could land a binding from Elimination to start it, but they actually needed Sneaky to come in there, pop out of stealth, and then try and hope OMG would stay and get a lot of damage from it and maybe collapse onto him, and they could then finish off the rest of the team.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the way that Cloud9 plays this type of composition. Like, Twitch plays into the Elise Morgana comp that they run, and I know when we were off camera, we were kind of questioning, like, is Twin Shadows the right build for Morgana? But I think that's the composition. It's picks, and it's picks from places you don't expect. It's not, you know, out of nowhere comes a Thrashhook or whatever. It's Twin Shadows will catch you, or a Binding will catch you, or a Twitch will catch you. Like, pretty much everyone there has an ability to find someone out of nowhere and get those kills. And you saw the kill score overall is close for a while, but the fact that any one of these guys can initiate a battle, get 2 guys off the map, then go start Baron, come back, get 2 more guys off the map, finish the Baron, right? That was how they won the game. It's just get 1 or 2 guys off the map, whether it's Sneaky on Twitch, who did a phenomenal job, or the rest of that lineup.
So there's 2 things I want to touch on there that you've just hit on, Freak. Cloud9 seemed to gain control longer, maybe it took them longer maybe to get control of the game than you maybe would have expected, considering they had 5,000-6,000 gold lead. I want to ask Monty about the OMG vision control, and then talk to me a little bit about how Cloud9 were moving towards finishing the game off.
Yeah, this is actually what really impressed me was how they identified their proper win condition to come out. Because if you look at the advantage, they know they have that big lead onto Shyvana going into the late game, and then because of the farm difference, not because of the matchup, of course, in an even matchup, we'd call Trundle to have the advantage in that situation. But you're not going to be sieging with a Twitch against a Leona. You're just going to get hit. You pop out, and you're going to get hit by Solar Flare and then killed. And then Jinx is going to start resetting, right? So sieging not really an option. But if you get control over the Baron pit with Vision with this composition, all of a sudden, they're so scared to go in because they have an immobile AD carry and the possibility of Elise or Shyvana coming over a wall right into your back line and then getting caught in a spray and pray and a choke point. So that was what they needed to do. They didn't have perfect vision control. They didn't quite sweep out the wards. They could have used, we were talking here on the desk about an earlier Oracle's lens, but they played the strategy right and they eventually managed to grind it out.
Yeah, I want to touch on that a little bit. I do think the siege was going to be rough for them, not because of the Leona as much, because they actually had a Black Shield that could counteract the Solar Flare within time. But the Orianna Wave Clear combined with Jinx, Rocket Spam, and even build a Shiv would make it impossible to siege down one lane. They could try and open up the map somehow and like move from one lane to the other quicker, but that wasn't going to cut it. They needed to Baron bait. However, they ended up getting the Baron, but it wasn't performed successfully. In my opinion, as Freak said, he picked up the Twin Shadows. That should have been an Oracle's Lens, and they should have just maybe an extra pink ward even, reposition the pink ward wherever you needed. Make sure they have absolutely no wards, because if you guys remember, there was a little bit of a standoff in top lane where it kept going back and forth and back and forth. That's because OMG had a ward around Baron area, and they knew when Cloud9 actually went in or out of the pit, and so they could stay in their lane nice and safe. They didn't have to face any brushes, and that's where Cloud9 dropped the ball a little bit. However, they never did the Baron unsafely. They always knew 100% sure that it couldn't get stolen by Smite. So props to them for understanding how to close out the game, going for the Baron bait. Once the mistake was made of not getting the Oracle's Elixir, they still played around with that almost perfectly.
And then also, I want to kind of point out how they closed it out the rest of the way. Was not a 5-on-5 siege where Orianna and Jinx just wave clear all the time. Eventually, it was, I believe it was top lane or mid lane, right? It was Link and Balls, bottom lane, two-man pushing, so that Orianna could be in one place, Jinx might be in the other, but like Lulu Shiv will dive one of those guys and kill that person. You saw the 2v1 going. So to close it out, once they had Baron, even once the buff turned off them, it was opposite sides of the map, split push in, they will dive whoever Squishy defends, not 5-on-5, and that was another key point.
Well, thank you guys for your insight. We are about to go to an interview. Before we do, though, I would like to remind every single person out there that this entire analyst desk did not vote in favor of Cloud9 to win this game. We will need to see how they predict tomorrow in the semifinals. We're going to send it over to Shox right now, as she is standing by with Cloud9's top laner, Balls.
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. Indeed, standing by with Balls from Cloud9. Does that hurt your feelings that none of them voted for you?
Yeah, I don't even know what to expect from that game, too. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was definitely going to be a great matchup. Tell me about the picks coming in. You did phenomenal on Shyvana, and you went with Trundle in the games before, so why now Shyvana, and how did that play out?
Well, usually I pick Trundle against Shyvana for like team fight and stuff, but that game, our team comp was really good with Shyvana, and Shyvana was also a safe pick, well named for against anyone. And after we picked that, they just picked Trundle against Shyvana, I guess.
Yeah, they did. Game went very well for you guys. Obviously, Sneaky going huge again. If you look forward to the semifinal you have tomorrow versus OMG in a best of 3, what do you think you guys can bring, if you know that OMG is known for picking away those things or banning away those things that are working so well for you guys?
Well, since this game really didn't matter, I think the next game or the best of 3 is going to be a lot different, because now each team knows what they picked and banned, so they get to prepare and like strategize against what they're going to do and like the level 1 difference and stuff.
What are your realistic expectations going into the rest of the tournament? Obviously, you guys have beaten now every region, but not Korea yet. Do you think you get a chance to face them even and beat them in the final? Or?
Well, that one game against SKT, we got destroyed at level 1 early game. So if we happen to play them again, I want to like re-strategize and like play better that next time.
All right, well, thank you very much, Balls, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
All right, we've got to recall the base, but when we come back, we'll get into our last game of the day, the Taipei Assassin versus Europe's home court team, Fnatic. Our coverage of the All-Stars Paris event continues right after this.
stand and try, okay?
Back up, back up.
Sneaky Scott, maybe.
Oriana.
I'm on Trundle. I'm dead.
You guys?
Wait.
Jinx?
You have to go Jinx. You have to go Jinx.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go back top.
Repellent 5, repellent 5. Nice.
I'm gonna steal if possible.
Nice.
Back to shield. No, definitely get off.
Should turn.
Get off.
Okay. Should turn.
We're off.
Yo, they have no Oriole.
Can we catch?
Yeah. You can go in,
You
boss.
can go.
You can go in. Got them. Jinx. Go Jinx. Go Jinx. Nice. Jinx is dead.